Joyce Herb with Paper Finesse. This is a sponsored video I'm doing for the Mod Squad Challenge. We have challenges there every week where you have the opportunity to win prizes. And today I'm going to be featuring kitchen sink stamps and Gina K Designs, specifically her ink. They are both sponsors. Please visit modsquadchallenge.com. Today we're going to build a scene using kitchen sink multi-step stamps and Gina K inks. I'll be making a card today using this grassy stamp from Kitchen Sink Stamps, and they are pretty awesome. Since I'm using clear stamps, I'm going to be using my foam pad, and I wedged my card right in the corner. Then I took it out and repositioned it on the grid 2 squares over because I realized that the stamp's a little bigger than the card. So you lay it face down, and on these huge stamps sometimes that's difficult to get the right side. And I'm using a bunch of different green inks from Gina K. This Apple Mint, which is what this one is, I don't know if it's swatched out yet, is a newer one and they're harder to open. So I use the spatula. Here I'm inking it real good. You're going to see I've got a little bit of a problem here. I've got an area there that didn't get stamped, and at this point I'm thinking that I just didn't get enough ink on it. So I do it again, and it's still there. So I'm going to clean it, and I'm going to condition it with Versamark, and by doing this it will help the ink stick better because this is a brand new stamp. I've never used it before. And now I'm re-inking again. Better, but it's still not there. So it's at this point I decide I need a shim behind it. So I'm putting a little piece of cardstock right behind it, repositioning it to the same spot, re-inking again. Once you condition the stamp, you don't have to do it again. I just re-inked the bottom, and that did the trick. It's a little bit of a challenge peeling those things off. And the second stamp just layers right on top. So far with her stamps, and I've got a lot of them, I really haven't had an issue lining anything up. They're some of the easiest multi-step stamps I've ever used. And this color is the Gina K Jelly Bean. And I like it. If you wanted it any deeper, you can go a second time. And this is step 3. I keep pulling the positioner back into screen because I see it's going off. This one I believe is Asparagus. I give it a minute to soak into the card. Now we're really starting to get some depth. Now the step 4 isn't a lot, it's just a little bit of darkness at the bottom. The biggest job of these layering stamps is getting them off that darn plastic paper for the first time. I wasn't sure which side it went on, bottom or top. I will list all the colors I've used on the bottom because with doing the voiceover, I couldn't see which color I used. Now I'm looking at the sample and I realized that I stamped this upside down. So I turned it to see what I thought, and I kind of like it in the position I've got it. So now that I've got this nice grassy scene, I had to figure out what to put on top of it, and I happen to have this tree stamp. And I usually see it done in the fall colors, but I decided I was going to make a dogwood tree in bloom. So we're going to have a pink tree. I'm just placing the stamps on there to try and get an idea of where to position it. And I look at the little cheat sheet that comes with the stamps to get an idea where things are going to be positioned. And here you see me swiping it on the paper just to see the colors. I've got most of these pinks swatched out, but not all of them, but I want to see how they looked next to each other. It's my lightest pink, the Bubblegum. I should have conditioned this, but I forgot. And here I'm stamping off, and I thought I'd get a lighter color by the second stamp, but the ink was too light to pull that off. So I'm re-inking it. And there's a lot of bubbles in here, a lot of texture, but that doesn't bother me, so I'm just letting it go. I'm going to have enough layers on top of this tree that it's not going to matter. So I get the second stamp, and as you can see, it lines up easy. And I get my second pink, and I will list the colors used below. And it's not deep enough for me, so I'm going with the same color, but stamped a second time. What I was checking is to make sure that my shim didn't have a little wrinkle in it, because I got a little imperfection at the top of the tree, and I'm not sure what caused it. Now I'm moving on to my third color. As soon as I can get this pulled off. Gina K inks stamp very nicely. They blend very nice. It's a huge range of colors. You can really see the contrast on this one, but I'm going to go a second time. And what I really like is all of her inks have re-inkers. I don't like buying ink unless I can get the re-inker to go with it. Plus, there's a lot of techniques you can do with re-inkers. Here I'm getting the Fantastics little paint stick, and I'm trying to fix that little line that looked like a wrinkle in the card. I'm supporting my right arm because when they replaced my elbow, they damaged my nerve. Now I'm going in with the deepest color. Oh, I guess that was my deepest color. Oops. Okay, I'm going in with the tree trunk. This is the first step of the tree trunk. I'm using 3 colors here. I think that was cocoa, and I think I've got dark chocolate and charcoal brown. I think I stamped the trunk just a little low. So what I do with this third step is I put it up just a little higher, which is fine. The little piece here keeps sticking to my nail, so every time I position it and move my hand, it moves. So this is a little higher. I'm going to be taking the Fantastics again and dipping it in this dark brown just to draw in some of those lines because I misaligned the trunk to start with. I didn't bring it up high enough. Now I'm looking for the little pieces that I want to add to my scene from this little set. And I'll put the name of this set below as well. It's just got a lot of little pieces, bits, brick walls, and I positioned them right on the card where I wanted it. I've got a little park bench, a little tire, some birds in the sky, and a little deer. I'm using black for the birds and for the tire, and I'm using the dark brown for the deer and the bench. This is where mini pads would come in really handy. Plus, mini pads are a lot easier for me to handle. I have heard that Gina K is coming out with mini pads. I can't wait. Especially seeing I've got every color that she makes, plus I've got all the re-inkers. Then I'm going to give everything a second coat. It's really nice when you use a stamp positioner because you can do more than one image at a time. You could do this in a block as well. If your block is big enough, you can use a block to stamp multiple images as well, or a Fisker's press. I found with the Fisker's press, though, that I had a really hard time aligning things a second time. And because of strength issues, I frequently have to stamp more than once. And this is a cool sentiment set from Kitchen Sink Stamps. And I'm just taking the sheet over the area I want my sentiment to see what looks good and what fits well. And I decided on thank you. And I'm going to use my passionate pink on this one. That's the same color I used for the dark color of the tree. I believe I stamped this twice. But for this entire scene, including the matting and the making of the card, I was able to make this card in an hour, which for me, that's a pretty darn good time, especially for a complete scene like this. I love multi-step stamps. Now I'm going to take my color box stylus, I think, and add some light blue to the background. And what I decided was, when I wiped it on the paper, is that the color was too intense. So I grabbed out my ink duster because I can get a much lighter background. The bristles on this ink duster are a little on the stiff side, and I'm going to order some clarity brushes. It's the same concept. The bristles look a little bit softer, and I think I'll get a smoother transition. I matted this with Passionate Pink Pure Luxury cardstock, also from Gina K, that coordinates with her inks, and mounted it on a white card base. The links for the Kitchen Sink Stamps and for Gina K Designs store will be in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to Paper Finesse. Have a great day.